3 minutes and 37 seconds. It took my father that long to threaten to remove me from his control. I recall giggling till I started crying when I checked my phone timer after the call ended. Ran down my cheeks. I was sitting in my sunny apartment in California, earning more money than he had. Never seen. 3,000 miles away from the family who had been staring through me instead of at me for 27 years. The amusing aspect wasn't merely a meaningless threat. It was that they had at last realized I had left 6 months following my absence from their lives. There were boxes on the walls of my former California's final day at the flat. Not cardboard monuments to cherished family treasures or childhood memories, but useful receptacles containing the life I had created all by myself. My buddy Julia had trouble handling a book box. "Her Josephine? This weighs a ton," she called, her face flushed with effort. It thudded heavily close to the door. "Do you really need all of these?" "I'm trying to sell." With the sharp sound of packing tape tearing through the void, I muttered, "Most of them anyway. I appreciate your assistance with everything." When she fell into my used couch, "There is only furniture left. The fact that you're really doing this still amazes me. Are you certain that you want to keep your parents in the dark?" That query once more. Everyone continued to asking. It seemed like a duty to let those who treated you like wallpaper decoration know. I chuckled. The hollow sort that reverberates from empty spaces where love is present, rather than the warm kind that comes from joy should have been. "They have no idea where I currently reside, Julia. Why would I divulge? I'm relocating across the nation, right?" Wiping, Simon entered from the kitchen, using a dish towel to wipe his hands. Beneath his casual tone, there was anxiety in his dark eyes. "It's clean inside. Tell me once more why your family is unaware of any of this." With the cold soaking through my clothes, I collapsed onto the hardwood floor. The feeling kept me grounded, as memories were threatening to drag me down. Since they have never given a damn about my life. I'm not being theatrical, either. I'm being truthful. My pals exchanged one of those warm glances that folks give each other when they're observing something unsettling, but unsure of how to respond. They have heard tidbits of my family's history throughout the years, but I had never explained everything. Something about the apartment's emptiness and the imminence of departing caused I want to tell the truth out loud. See, everything was different when I was a child. Centered on Elliot. He was the golden child from the beginning. I gingerly peeled back the strip of tape that had adhered to my fingers. He is 2 years old. Older, and incomparably more valued in my parents' eyes. Simon remarked. "That's messed up." Settling up against the wall, I took first prize in the school science fair when I was 8 years old. My volcano wasn't your average baking soda mishap. I had studied real-world volcanic patterns and made a functional model that illustrated actual geological concepts. The judges were impressed. My teacher especially called my parents to let them know how great it was. It was still visible to me. So obviously looking for someone to notice while standing near the dinner table that evening, certificate in hand. My parents said something that, "I like that, honey." After that, they spent the remainder of discussing Elliot's soccer match over dinner. Not really a crucial match, but a routine drill in which he reportedly made a good pass. The apartment had the impression that, in some way, colder. As we grew older, it became worse. I made the honor roll at the age of 12. Each and every semester. All grades were perfect. My report cards were hardly looked at by my parents. However, when Elliot joined the varsity football, they invited everyone in the area to his celebration. My dad purchased a brand new barbecue specifically for the event. Now the words came more easily, similar to slashing an old wound. When we were teenagers, the rail kicker appeared. My parents were overjoyed to cover the cost of Elliot's attendance at this prestigious private university. Everything he could possibly want, including a luxurious apartment, full tuition, and spending money necessity. They sat me down for a financial reality chat on my 18th birthday. They said I would have to sort it out on my own because they had already used their schooling funds on Elliot. Hold on, what? Julia's gaze expanded. That is exactly what they said. In order to pursue computer science, I was awarded a full scholarship. I have a brain for it, it turns out. I got up. I felt the need to get up and do something because of the energy that was flowing through me. I survived. Essentially stopped visiting home. worked 2 part-time jobs to pay for everything else, and lived in the dorms. The quiet that wasn't uncomfortable in the room. These were those who paid attention to what I had to say. They no longer invited me. For the holidays. Once a year, I simply sent a generic happy birthday SMS. Nothing after graduation altered. I started working remotely after landing a job at a software business, and I recorded every penny I could. My mother, meanwhile, is often posting about Elliot on social media. I took out my phone and looked at her profile. Take a look at these images from his campaign. 3 months ago. Pictures from last month's engagement celebration. They didn't invite you to the celebration of his engagement? Simon inquired, his tone faltering with incredulity. Not at all. However, I'm no longer shocked. I realized that I'm not truly a member of their family a long time ago. Elliot is their son. Their DNA happens to be the same as mine. Julia got up and embraced me in a way that felt like home, and had the scent of her vanilla perfume. I apologize, Josephine. That's awful. It's all right. Now that I'm over it, I meant it. I'm thrilled about this move because of this. I received a fantastic job offer from a Silicon Valley IT business. The pay is nearly double what I currently earn, and the work is innovative. A new beginning has begun. That's fantastic. You deserve it, Simon said. And the best part, thank you. I didn't need to inquire anyone for assistance. I took care of everything on my own, acquired the position, and negotiated the income, found a California apartment, and planned the full relocation process. Alone. Julia smiled. Look at you being so self-sufficient and prosperous. I acknowledge that I am proud of the words feel pleasant on my tongue, despite being weird. For years I had been saving, and I should be able to purchase my own home in a year or two with this increased pay, somewhere peaceful with fast internet. All I need is that. After packing in peaceful silence, we placed our order, pizza, and ate it right out of the box, while sitting on the floor. It was like peeling skin in the empty flat. Unusual, yet freeing. Julia inquired, "So what's your plan for tomorrow?" She wiped sauce from her chin. At 2, the flight departs. The final few boxes are arriving as luggage. All other items have already been shipped. It's a decent apartment. It's simple, yet it has a view. Echo of the mountains. On Monday, I begin work. Have you informed your grandma regarding the relocation? Simon inquired. Immediately, my face relaxed. Yes. Last week, I gave her a call. She is the only relative who has ever truly was interested in what I was doing. My father's mother was my grandma, and for some reason, the compassion gene had been omitted. A generation. When I spoke, she paid attention. She was able to recall specifics about my life. When she was the one who helped me locate scholarship applications, because my parents wouldn't help with college. She called to congratulate me on every success, no matter how tiny. Julia remarked, "That's sweet. Thank goodness you have her. I do too." She is currently 75, but more shrewd than those half her age. She's aware of everything that is going on with my parents, yet she is too polite to say it plainly. There, till midnight, we discussed California, my new career, and the future I was creating. These individuals were my true family, who genuinely knew where I lived, who cheered me on when I entered a room, and who acknowledged my accomplishments. Following there, I sat cross-legged in the middle of my vacant apartment on the left. I would take an aircraft and fly tomorrow. Throughout the nation. I will no longer feel uncomfortable attending events to which I was not invited. Anyway, I'm going to stop watching my Elliot's parents treat him as if he were their son. Only me, my profession, and the I was building a future for myself. After 6 months, I found out that a life well lived can often be the best kind of retaliation. I was seated in my apartment in California. One Tuesday morning, at random. The view of the mountains never grew old. Sharp peaks set against a clear sky, the type of scene that tourists pay to see while on vacation. They were visible from my kitchen as I prepared meals and from my desk as I worked. Coffee, while sitting on my balcony, where I frequently watched the sunsets turn them purple and gold in the evenings. The work was all of their promises and more. In fact, my supervisor appreciated my opinions. My coworkers were genuinely pleasant and clever. I was able to save money because to my salary, at a pace that occasionally still caused me to double-check my bank account since I was certain there must have been an error. While having lunch during my breaks, I had been looking at real estate listings, which included actual homes with modern kitchens and yards. The type of location place you could picture yourself getting old. I felt like I fit in for the first time. Somewhere. My phone then rang. Unknown figure. I nearly turned it down, but some I answered out of an odd instinct. Josephine. The annoyance in my father's voice was sharp. I was irritated, as though I had kept him waiting but not surprised. I was unable to recall when he had last given me a call. Next Saturday, you have to come home for dinner. Not, hi. How are you? Only a request fulfilled with complete assurance that I would follow through. Traditional dad. What is for dinner? I inquired, but I'm already positive I won't care for the response. The parents of Elliot's fiancé wish to meet you. Family is vital to them, and they are traditional people. They want to know you after learning that Elliot has a sister. The future of Elliot depends on it. It was, I'm positive. However, the command, no, the request seemed so ridiculous to me that I had to respond. I will not be attending. A pause. You mean you won't be coming? His voice was becoming more irate, that recognizable edge that had caused me to shrink as a kid. However, I was no longer a child. I mean just what I stated. I will not attend your dinner party. Why not? Then, something exploded within of me. It was a sort of crazy, free-spirited delight, not rage. I burst out laughing, not in a courteous or anxious manner, but deeply unrestrained laughing that made me laugh twice. What's so funny? Insisted Dad. You want to know why I'm not coming? This whole thing is hilarious. I'll tell you 3 reasons. To start, our family isn't flawless. Elliot is your cherished son, and I am an afterthought. Secondly, just because it's convenient for you, I won't pretend to be a part of a happy family reunion for strangers. Third, I stopped to enjoy the moment. I relocated to California 6 months ago, so please join me for supper. Dead stillness on, I could practically hear his brain straining to take in this knowledge. You never told us you were moving to California, so why would I tell you? He inquired about my previous residence before exploding, saying, How dare you move across the country? We need to know where you are, so please provide your address without notifying your family. I'm still giggling. Do you recall my previous address, Dad? The one where I spent 3 years? He didn't respond right away. That's not the point, Josephine. In fact, it's the point. You've never been interested in my life, so why would I remember? You never cared enough to know. You can't just tell me where I live or what I'm doing, Josephine. My phone rang again right away after I hung up, and I said no to Dad's number. I let them all go to voicemail. Mom called next, followed by Elliot. Then the texts came flooding in. Family is essential, Josephine, Mom. Must not fight in this manner. Come on, Elliot. Josephine. You can return to California immediately after this one supper, Dad. Call me back. This is absurd. More texts, more calls. It seemed as though they had just realized I was here and were upset that I wasn't jumping when they snapped their fingers. I turned off my phone and prepared a healthy dinner for myself, which consisted of salmon and roasted vegetables, something I had never eaten before. When I was working several jobs to pay for college, I didn't have time to cook. The entitlement in their statements was Elliot needed his fiancée, Paul's parents, to believe he was from a picture-perfect family. So all of a sudden, they wanted me to fulfill my job. Where was this family care while I was eating? I couldn't afford anything else, so I was living on ramen noodles in my dorm room. The calls and texts went on for 3 days. Were requests made out of rage. Some were bribes, and some were guilt trips. I read them all, but I didn't reply to any of them. My grandma called on the 3rd day. Hello, my love. How is your transition to California going? Something in me is quickly calmed by her speech. Really? Well, honestly, listen, your folks requested me to tell you that I enjoy it here. Let me guess. I sighed. Call you. They want you to persuade me to attend Elliot's dinner event. Before I continue, I want you to know that I understand your family circumstances and will not put any pressure on you, and I can appreciate your reluctance to go. Thank you, Grandma. Your parents are angry that you moved without notifying them, and that implies a lot. They didn't even know where I lived before, Grandma. How am I to blame? It's not your fault. I've seen this family dynamic for years, and I am aware of how they have handled. I've tried to discuss it with your father, but he doesn't want to hear it. I felt lighter once we hung up. Saturday came and went, and I spent time with at least one family member who understood. I was feeling liberated and inhaling clean air while climbing in the mountains close to my apartment. On Sunday morning, Dad called once more. We had to let Elliot's prospective in-laws know that you were ill and couldn't attend dinner, Josephine. All right, I kept. My tone is neutral, providing no additional information. The wedding is in a month. Therefore, you must be there. I'm not attending the wedding either. This is Elliot's, Josephine. You must attend the wedding. No, I don't. His voice fell into that perilous register I recalled from my early years, the tone that implied dire consequences were arriving. Should you fail to attend this wedding and demonstrate to Elliot's in-laws that we are a typical, devoted family, I will fully cut you off. I almost dropped the phone because You'll take away my inheritance, Dad. I earn more than you, Mom, and I don't need your money, Elliot combined. Quiet down. Heavy with realization. Spread between us, is that right? About your pay. You would know that I work for a large software business and make a very decent living if you had ever bothered to inquire about my life. Living. His voice instantly warmed with fresh curiosity. We've always been proud of you, Josephine, and all we want is for you to return home so we can all be together as a family. I didn't answer and hung up. After an hour, Elliot began texting me to express his pride in me and to say that he had always thought of me and missed me. It was pitiful. Now that they were aware of my achievement, all that had changed was their perception of my worth, which made them want me back in their lives. Bring up the family image. I erased their contacts and blocked their numbers. From my phone, I finished all of them. After a month, the calmest no demands, no guilt trips, and no calls from my parents. A month I hadn't experienced in years. Only me, my job, and my life in California. I had focused my home hunt on a few houses showed promise, but there were some lovely peaceful locations about an hour outside the city. Despite the fact that I was childless, I enjoyed the permanence and stability of communities with strong schools. On a Sunday afternoon, my grandmother's name appeared on the screen as my phone rang. Hi, my love, I hope all is well with you. I'm looking at properties online. I think I found a couple I'd want to view in person. Josephine, that's fantastic. I have some pictures to email you, and I wanted to tell you about the wedding. It was tight, and your parents weren't pleased that you didn't show up. They were clearly uncomfortable, and they continued giving reasons why you weren't there. They first said you were still ill, but what excuses? They then stated that you were on a business trip and that you had to work. The bride's parents didn't. I reclined on my couch, not seeming to believe any of it. It was awkward, and Elliot had a dejected expression. He kept looking at his phone the entire time, presumably expecting you'd change your I don't mind and I'll be there. No, that's not my issue. However, Josephine, additionally, you should be aware that the bride's parents had a very bad incident a few days prior to the wedding. I straightened my posture. What sort of talk did you have with your parents? They apparently looked into your family and discovered that the fact that Elliot was obviously the favorite child and that your parents had essentially ignored you for years made them unhappy. Really? Really? Based on what I've been informed, they said your parents, who expressed their dissatisfaction with your treatment and inquired as to whether Elliot was from the sort of family they wished for their daughter to marry into. I had a wave of validation. Whoa. Your parents and the bride's parents ended up having a big quarrel, which is actually kind of satisfying. Everyone could sense anxiety during the entire event, which created an awkward atmosphere. I believe the bride's parents spoke to Elliot about it, but did they say anything? Yes. Your cousin told me that they questioned him about why he had never disclosed having a sister and why you weren't part of that, engaged in his life. I'm not sure what he said, but it seems to have didn't go as planned. The bride appeared distressed throughout the ceremony. Later that day, my parents sent me the pictures, which I looked at on my laptop. Thwarted, unwavering smiles that stopped short of their eyes, and Elliot continued to look around as if he was. The bride's parents were grave and serious as they searched for someone, most likely me, unhappy. No matter how hard I tried, I couldn't have scripted a better result. The following morning, my grandmother called once more. I wanted to give you an update on the family, Josephine. Circumstance. What is going on now? It appears that the bride's parents are still inquiring. Inquiries about your absence from the wedding, and they're dissatisfied with the responses they're receiving. Well done. Parents are beginning to worry because they know that how they treat you could have a negative impact on Elliot's marriage and his relationship with his new in-laws. I don't care about it, they do. I know, my love, but I believe you should be aware that they're starting to realize that what they've done has repercussions. She was correct. In the meanwhile, I had everything I required. My profession was prospering, my bank account increased each month, and my flat felt like home, was making friends at work, hiking on the weekends, and looking at houses. I questioned, how are you doing with all of this? My life was good without them. Her. I'm all right, sweetie. I've spent years observing this familial dynamic, and I simply regret that it took this long, since I always knew it would eventually catch up with them. Grandma, you were the only person who ever showed concern for me, and you were always kind to me. What I was doing. Josephine, you're a lovely person. Your parents simply were unable to recognize that you always were. I felt vindicated once we hung up, but really I was simply glad I was no longer involved in their drama. I spent the remainder of the day perusing real estate listings. I came across a seemingly ideal home, with 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, great internet service, a lovely yard. And it was roughly 1 hour away from my workplace, but it wasn't a problem, because I worked from home most of the time. It was well within my price range, so I called the agent and set up a showing for the following weekend. May make a 20% down payment and still have a lot of money saved for emergencies and furniture. Elliot was the unknown number that buzzed on my phone that night. I have a new phone, Josephine, but I know you blocked our numbers. We need to speak. After looking at the message for a while, I removed it without replying. My in-laws are inquiring about you 5 minutes later, which is having an impact on my marriage. Please simply give me a call back. I am aware that we messed up. Delete. I apologize, Josephine. We're all guilty. I was not following, so I turned off my phone and finished preparing dinner. Please talk. For this, they only expressed regret because their behavior was ultimately causing their beloved Elliot to suffer. I had dinner on my balcony with a view of the mountains, and I planned to contact the realtor regarding that home. I have been in California for a year, and I'm still in shock that I'm standing in my own home's kitchen. Did it? It has 2 bathrooms, 3 bedrooms, a fruit tree yard, and the quickest money can buy an internet connection. My phone rings while I'm brewing coffee. Greetings, Grandma. How are you? I'm doing okay, my love. How's the new house? I love being here, and I have a home office. Being's ideal, configured to my specifications, and I am able to work from home at any time. My neighbors are quite kind, and the neighborhood is peaceful. I'm very glad for you. Thank you, Josephine. You deserve it all. I'm doing better than I thought I would be at the age of 28, and I still can't believe I really own a house. You should feel proud of yourself because you have achieved so much on your own. I am proud. I intend to remain here for a very long time, possibly forever. That's fantastic. If you're interested, I'd like to share some news about your family. I take a seat at my kitchen table. I suppose so. Elliot's marriage isn't working out. The bride's parents never really recovered from the fact that you were not present at the wedding. They continue to. It's producing issues and bringing it up, which is bad for Elliot. Your parents have been asking everyone in the family if they know how to get in touch with you. I hope no one is providing them your new address or phone number. Of course not. I informed everyone that you are entitled to privacy and that you are free to speak if you so choose. You would get in touch with your parents. I appreciate it. Your father requests that I persuade you to visit me at home every couple weeks. He claims they miss you and want to make amends, but I keep telling him that's not my place. Things correctly, But after that, he usually says something about your success and their pride in you. They still do not understand. No, they do not. They believe that this is about. They don't realize that it's about how they treated you during your whole life, not about money or achievement. Life. Following our phone conversation, I stroll around my home. My living room, with its my workplace, is equipped with everything I need for work, including a cozy couch and a big TV. I consider getting my guest room ready for Julia and Simon's arrival next month. What I was told by my grandmother. I may have had a feeling about my parents, regrets, or Elliot's marital issues, yet right now, I feel nothing. Not resentment, not sorrow, not remorse, nothing at all. I made the correct decision by coming here and cutting communication with them. Without their drama, demands, and unexpected interest, my life is significantly better. In my accomplishment. That evening, as I sit on my back patio, I watch the sunset color the. When my phone buzzes with a message from another unknown number, the sky turns pink and gold. Josephine, this is Mom. I look at the phone and say, please call me, we need to talk. After 2 hours, erase the message after a minute. Josephine, I know you're receiving these letters. Your father and I acknowledge our errors. We're aware that you're now successful, therefore we want to make things right. Delete. We could have been better parents. I'm proud of you. Please remove. Give us one chance to explain, please. Delete. Because of this circumstance, Elliot's marriage is in jeopardy. You are our daughter, and we cherish you. The texts keep flooding in, so laugh out loud at that one before deleting it as well. The following days, Mom, Dad, Elliot, and even family members I hardly know make an effort to many strategies, including threats, pride, guilt, and familial loyalty. I block new numbers as they come in, though, and I don't answer any of them. My phone number has changed, and I now only give it to people I truly want in my life. Ensure my address isn't on any internet listings. A month later, I'm dining with colleagues when one of them inquires about my family, asking if I have any siblings. Nope, I respond when she asks. Just me. What about your parents? He said without hesitation. They no longer play a significant role in my life. I apologize. I smile and take a sip of my wine, thinking it must be hard. It's actually not hard at all, and it's been the best choice I've ever made. And I mean it when I say that I don't miss them or wonder what they're up to. I'm simply going about my life, and I feel bad about not speaking to them. I receive a promotion at work 6 months later, and my pay rises by an additional 30%. And I am currently in charge of a group of developers. According to my supervisor, I am among the most gifted programmers she's ever collaborated with. I treat myself to a new automobile and traveling to Japan. I send pictures from Tokyo to my grandmother. She adds, "You're living your best life, sweetheart," and she's overjoyed for me. Grandma, I truly am. I am joyful than I've ever been when I phone her from my hotel. Bintuam. All I ever want for you was that. Upon my return from Japan, I discover a father who somehow discovered my address, left a letter in my mailbox. I simply chuck it in the trash without even opening it. I don't need their justifications, their regrets, their apologies, their inheritance, or their conditional affection or their approval. I have my home, my job, my friends, and my grandma, and my future. I have all I require, and I intend to. Next year, I plan to extend my home, possibly adding a home gym and a larger office. My life is busy, and I'm considering taking online graduate courses for fun, as well as buying a puppy, content, and tranquil. I solve my own problems, make my own decisions, and don't have to endure the drama of others. I occasionally ponder what could have transpired if my parents would have grown up differently, if they had encouraged me, supported me, been pleased with me. But I later understood that if they had, I might not have developed the independence and resiliency that I now possess. Now. Because of their disregard, I had to establish my own life, determine my own value, and I would not alter a thing, and I am grateful for the opportunity to build my own pleasure. If you found this article interesting, please tell someone who needs to know that family cherishes you, not only who has your DNA. Please remember to subscribe and leave a comment for more stories about discovering your value in unexpected locations. The ability to start a whole new life is perhaps the best inheritance. Your own.